Okay, we'll start now. Om Vakratundamahakaya Suryakotisamapprabha Nirvighnan Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatane Sada Gurave Sarvalokanam Vitaje Bhavaroginam Nidhaje Sarvavidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinapathitamastama Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om. Vasudevendra Yogeendram Tvajnanapradam Gurun Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodha Vidhiyate. We will recite the Tattvabodha from the beginning. Can you see the slide now? It is Sadhana Chatushtaya.
Yes.
Okay. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannadhikarinam Moksha Sadhana Bhutam Tattva Viveka Prakaram Vakshyamaha.
Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannadhikarinam Moksha Sadhana Bhutam Tattva Viveka Prakaram Vakshyamaha.
Sadhana Chatushtayam Kim.
Sadhana Chatushtayam Kim.
Nitya Nitya Vastu Videkaha Iha Palabhoga Viragaha Samadhi Shukka Sampattihi Uttam Cheti.
Nitya Vastu Vivekaha Iha Mutrata Palabhoga Viragaha Samadhi Shukka Sampattihi Mumukshutvam Cheti.
Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha Kaha.
Nitya Vastu Vivekaha
Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma Tat Yatiriktam Sarvam Anityam Ayam Eva Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha.
Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma Tat Yatiriktam Sarvam Anityam Ayameva Nitya Vastu Vivekaha. Viragakaha
Swarga Bhogeshu Ichcharahityam.
Iha Swarga Bhogeshu Ichcharahityam.
Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi Ka.
Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi Ka.
Shamaha Damaha Uparamaha Titiksha Shraddha Samadhanam Chaiti.
शमः
दमः उपरमः तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति
शमः कः
शमः
मनोनिग्रहः
मनोनिग्रहः
दमः कः
दमः कः
चक्षुरादि इन्द्रियनिग्रहः
चक्षुरादि इन्द्रियनिग्रहः
परमः कः
उपरमः
कः
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानम् एव
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानमेव
तितिक्षा का
तितिक्षा
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादिसहिष्णुत्वम्
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादिसहिष्णुत्वम्
श्रद्धा कीदृशी
श्रद्धा कीदृशी
गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा
वेदान्तवाक्येषु
विश्वासः श्रद्धा
समाधानं किम्
समाधानं किम्
चित्तैकाग्रता
एकाग्रता
क्षुत्वं किम्
मुमुक्षुत्वं किम्
मोक्षो मे भूयात् इति इच्छा
मोक्षो मे भूयात् इति इच्छा
sorry now can you see the slide?
yes
okay एतत् साधनचतुष्टयम्
साधनचतुष्टयम्
ततः तत्त्वविवेकस्य अधिकारिणः भवन्ति
ततः तत्त्वविवेकस्य अधिकारिणः भवन्ति
तत्त्वविवेकः कः
तत्त्वविवेकः कः
आत्मा सत्यः तदन्यत् सर्वं मिथ्या इति
आत्मा सत्यः तदन्यत् सर्वं मिथ्या इति
आत्मा कः
आत्मा कः
सूक्ष्मकारणशरीरात् व्यतिरिक्तः पञ्चकोशातीतः सन् अवस्थात्रयसाक्षी सच्चिदानन्दरूपः सन् यः तिष्ठति स आत्मा
सूक्ष्मकारणशरीराद्यतिरिक्तः पञ्चकोशातीतः
सन् अवस्थात्रयसाक्षी सच्चिदानन्दरूपः सन् यः तिष्ठति स आत्मा
स्थूलशरीरं किम्
स्थूलशरीरं किम्
पञ्चीकृतपञ्चमहाभूतैः तत्कर्मजन्यं सुखदुःखादिभोगायतनं शरीरम् अस्ति जायते वर्धते विपरिणमते अपक्षीयते विनश्यति इति षट्विकारवत् एतत् स्थूलशरीरम्
पञ्चीकृतपञ्चमहाभूतैः कृतं कर्मजन्यं सुखदुःखादिभोगायतनं शरीरम् जायते विपरिणमते
अपक्षीयते विनश्यति
विकारवत्
एतत् स्थूलशरीरम्
सूक्ष्मशरीरं किम्
सूक्ष्मशरीरं किम्
अपञ्चीकृतपञ्चमहाभूतैः कृतं तत्कर्मजन्यं सुखदुःखादिभोगसाधनं पञ्चज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि पञ्चकर्मेन्द्रियाणि पञ्चप्राणादयः मनश्चैकं बुद्धिश्चैका एवं सप्तदशकलाभिः सह यत् तिष्ठति तत् सूक्ष्मशरीरम्
अपञ्चीकृत
पञ्चमहाभूतैः कृतं
कर्मजन्यसुखदुःखादिभोगसाधनं
ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि
पञ्चकर्मेन्द्रियाणि
पञ्चकर्मेन्द्रियाणि पञ्चप्राणादय मनश्चैकं बुद्धिश्चैका एवं सप्तदश कलाभिः सह यत् तिष्ठति सूक्ष्मशरीरम्
श्रोत्रं त्वक् चक्षुरसनाघ्राणम् इति पञ्च ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि
श्रोत्रं
चक्षुरसनाघ्राणां इति पञ्च ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि
श्रोत्रस्य दिग्देवता पचो चक्षुः सूर्यः रसनायाः वरुणः घ्राणस्य अश्विनौ इति ज्ञानेन्द्रियदेवताः
श्रोत्रस्य
दिग्देवता त्वचो वायुः चक्षुषः सूर्यः रसनायाः वरुणः घ्राणस्य अश्विनौ इति ज्ञानेन्द्रियदेवताः
श्रोत्रस्य विषयः शब्दग्रहणम् त्वचो विषयः स्पर्शग्रहणम् चक्षुषो विषयः रूपग्रहणम् रसनाया विषयः रसग्रहणम् घ्राणस्य विषयः गन्धग्रहणम्
श्रोत्रस्य विषयः रसग्रहणम् त्वचो विषयः स्पर्शग्रहणम् चक्षुषो विषयः रूपग्रहणम् रसनाया विषयः रसग्रहणम् घ्राणस्य विषयः गन्धग्रहणम्
वाक्पाणिपादपायु उपस्थानि इति पञ्चकर्मेन्द्रियाणि
वाक्पाणिपादपायु उपस्थानि इति पञ्चकर्मेन्द्रियाणि
वाचो देवता वह्निः हस्तयोरिन्द्रः पादयोर्विष्णुः पायोर्मृत्युः उपस्थस्य प्रजापतिः इति कर्मेन्द्रियदेवताः
वाक्यो देवता वह्निः हस्तयोरिन्द्रः पादयोर्विष्णुः पायोर्मृत्युः उपस्थस्य प्रजापतिः इति कर्मेन्द्रियदेवताः
वाचो विषयः भाषणम् पाण्योर्विषयः वस्तुग्रहणम् पादयोर्विषयः गमनम् वायोर्विषयः मलत्यागः उपस्थस्य विषयः आनन्द इति
वाचो विषयो भाषणम् अन्यो विषयो वस्तुग्रहणम् पादयोर्विषयो गमनम् वायोर्विषयो मलत्यागः उपस्थस्य विषयः आनन्द इति
प्राणापानव्यानोदानः समानाः इति पञ्चप्राणाः
प्राणापानव्यानोदानसमानाः इति पञ्चप्राणाः
सङ्कल्पविकल्पात्मकं मनः निश्चयात्मिका बुद्धिः
सङ्कल्पविकल्पात्मकं मनः निश्चयात्मिका बुद्धिः
कारणशरीरं किम्
कारणशरीरम्
अनिर्वाच्य अनादिविद्यारूपं शरीरद्वयस्य कारणमात्रं सत्स्वरूपाज्ञानं निर्विकल्पकरूपं यदस्ति तत् कारणशरीरम्
अनिर्वाच्य अनादि
अविद्यारूपं शरीरस्य कारणमात्रं स्वरूपज्ञानं निर्विकल्पकरूपं यदस्ति तत् कारणशरीरम्
सत्स्वरूप अज्ञानं न सत्स्वरूप ज्ञानं सत्स्वरूपाज्ञानं
स्वरूपाज्ञानम्
अवस्थात्रयं किम्
अवस्थात्रयं किम्
जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्ति अवस्थाः
जागृत्स्वप्नसुषुप्ति अवस्थाः
जाग्रत् अवस्था का
जाग्रदवस्था का
श्रोत्रादिज्ञानेन्द्रियैः शब्दादिविषयाः ज्ञायन्ते इति यत् सा जाग्रत् अवस्था स्थूलशरीराभिमानी आत्मा विश्वः इति उच्यते।
श्रोत्रादिज्ञानेन्द्रियैः शब्दादिविषयाः ज्ञायन्ते इति
जाग्रदवस्था
स्थूलशरीराभिमानी आत्मा विश्वः इति उच्यते।
स्वप्नावस्था का इति चेत्
स्वप्नावस्था का इति चेत्
जाग्रत् अवस्थायां यत् दृष्टं यत् श्रुतं तज्जनितवासनया निद्रासमये यः प्रपञ्चः प्रतीयते सा स्वप्नावस्था सूक्ष्मशरीर अभिमानी आत्मा तैजसः इति उच्यते।
जाग्रदवस्थायां यत् दृष्टं यत् श्रुतं तज्जनितवासनया निद्रासमये यः प्रपञ्च प्रतीयते सा स्वप्नावस्था सूक्ष्मशरीराभिमानी आत्मा तैजसः इति उच्यते।
ततः सुषुप्ति अवस्था का
सुषुप्ति अवस्था
अहं किमपि न जानामि सुखेन मया निद्रा अनुभूयते इति सुषुप्ति अवस्था कारणशरीर अभिमानी आत्मा प्राज्ञः इति उच्यते।
अहं सुखेन मया निद्रा अनुभूयते सुषुप्ति
कारणशरीर अभिमानी आत्मज्ञः इत्युच्यते।
पंचकोशाः के अन्नमयः प्राणमयः मनोमयः विज्ञानमयः आनन्दमयश्चेति।
अन्नमयः प्राणमयः मनोमयः विज्ञानमयः
आनन्दमयश्चेति।
अन्नमयः कः
अन्नमयः कः
अन्नरसेनैव भूत्वा अन्नरसेनैव वृद्धिं प्राप्य अन्नरूपपृथिव्यां यत् विलीयते तत् अन्नमयकोशः स्थूलशरीरम्।
अन्नरसेनैव भूत्वा अन्नरसेनैव वृद्धिं प्राप्य अन्नरूपपृथिव्यां यत् विलीयते तदन्नमयः कोशः स्थूलशरीरम्।
प्राणमयः कः प्राणाद्याः पञ्चवायवः वागादि इन्द्रियपञ्चकं प्राणमयकोशः।
प्राणाद्याः पञ्चवायवः वागादीन्द्रियपञ्चकं प्राणमयः कोशः।
मनोमयः कः
मनोमयः
मनश्च ज्ञानेन्द्रियपञ्चकं मिलित्वा यः भवति स मनोमयकोशः।
मनश्च ज्ञानेन्द्रियपञ्चकं मिलित्वा यः भवति स मनोमयः कोशः।
विज्ञानमयः कः
विज्ञानमयः कः
बुद्धिः ज्ञानेन्द्रियपञ्चकं मिलित्वा यः भवति स विज्ञानमयकोशः।
बुद्धिः ज्ञानेन्द्रियपञ्चकं मिलित्वा यः भवति स विज्ञानमयः कोशः।
आनन्दमयः कः
आनन्दमयः कः
एवमेव कारणशरीरभूत अविद्यास्थ मलिनसत्त्वं क्रियादिवृत्तिसहितं तत् आनन्दमयकोशः एतत् कोशपञ्चकम्
एवमेव कारणशरीरभूता विद्यारतमलिनत्वं क्रियादिवृत्तिसहितं तत् आनन्दमयः कोशः एतत् कोशपञ्चकम्
मदीयं शरीरं मदीयाः प्राणाः मदीयं मनश्च मदीया बुद्धिः मदीयम् अज्ञानं तेनैव ज्ञायते तद्यथा मदीयत्वेन ज्ञातं कटककुण्डलगृहादिकं स्वस्माद्भिन्नं तथा पञ्चकोशादिकं स्वस्माद्भिन्नं मदीयत्वेन ज्ञातम् आत्मा न भवति
मदीयं शरीरं मदीयाः प्राणाः
मदीयं मनश्च
मदीयबुद्धिः
मदीयम् अज्ञानम् इति तेनैव ज्ञायते
तद्यथा मदीयत्वेन ज्ञातं कटककुण्डलगृहादिकं भिन्नं तथा पञ्चकोशादिकं स्वस्माद्भिन्नं
आत्मा न भवति.
Is it difficult to read? You're seeing the slide, right?
Yeah, long. Yeah, it's pretty long. So.
Okay. आत्मा तर्हितः
आत्मा तर्हितः
सच्चिदानन्दरूपः
सच्चिदानन्दरूपः
तत् किम्?
Oh, this is nice. Tat kim.
What is nice?
The black print over the white.
Okay. कालत्रये तिष्ठति इति सत्
कालत्रये तिष्ठति इति सत्
चित् किम्?
चित् किम्?
ज्ञानस्वरूपः
ज्ञानस्वरूपः.
Okay. Now,
can I ask you one question quickly?
Yes.
The previous slide, which said Kalatraye Tishtati iti Sat. What does Sat mean?
That's what he came.
No, wait, Nagaratnam. I just want to hear it from him.
Already we discussed in the last class, actually.
Yes, yeah, but I just want a quick translation or definition of Sat.
Okay, you can mute your mic and I'll say it. Yeah. Okay, you can mute your mic. All of you. So after this, we saw in the last class, Sat kim kalatrayeti tishtati iti Sat. Trikale yat tishtati tat Sat. That means Trikale yat tishtati. Kalatrayeti or Trikale. That which is existent, which has existence in all the three periods of time. That is Sat. It means that which is ever existent.
So is there a difference between existence and existent?
That existence is called Sat. And when I say that which is ever existent, that is Sat. There is not a big difference. But existence
not different.
Sat. Yeah.
Existence is the word. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll continue the class now, right? So that which gives existence to everything, that is Sat. For example, I will say, I am. When I say I am, that am is Sat. Similarly, when you say you are, that are is Sat. When you say he is, that is Sat. That is there always. That has never come into being and it's not going to disappear. Agam asmi, tvam asi, saha asti. In all this asmi, asi, asti, it denotes the existence. The content of this is nothing but Sat. Grammatically, with respect to Pratama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, Uttama Purusha, they are called Asmi, Asi, Asti. Really speaking, it is only Asmi. Aham Asmi, Tvam Asmi, Saha Asmi. You can say Asmi is existence, Satyam, Sat. There is nothing other than Atma, me, myself. And everything being Brahma, everything being non-separate from me, therefore, Aham Brahma Asmi, we can say. Aham Brahma Asmi. If I am Brahma, I am everything, then we can say Saha Asmi, Tvam Asmi. Saha Asmi is not different from me. Tvam Asmi, you are not different from me. The difference is only in Upadhi. And Upadhi is Nitya, which is negatable. Therefore, what is there is me alone. From me alone, everything has come. And in me alone, everything resolves finally. Mayeva sakalam jatam, Mai sarvam pratishthitam, Mai sarvam layam yati, Tad Brahma advayam agamasmi. Kaivalya Upanishad says that. So therefore, Sat. Okay. So this is about Sat. Now the Shishya has the next question. In the definition of Atma, the author has used three new words, Sat, Chit, Anandaha. Sat we discussed elaborately in the previous classes. Now comes the next question, Chit, Tim. The Shishya asks, what is Chit? Guru says, Jnanasvarupaha. Chit is Jnanasvarupaha. Chit is of the nature of consciousness. We can translate jnana as consciousness or knowledge or awareness, anything, or Atma. That is all. Atma is consciousness anyway. We have seen that we pass through three states of existence. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. The three states of existence of you. The three states, the avasthas, it change. But you are existent in all the three avasthas. You don't change. Change comes and goes, but you don't go with the change. You remain the changeless existence. And you are aware of the changes. The existence is nothing but awareness. Awareness is existence, Sat. That existence doesn't change. That which is changing is unreal, Vidya. That which doesn't change, that which is the adhishtanam for Vidya is Sat. Now, how do you know that there is a change? If you want to talk about any change, then there must be something or some principle which must be aware of the changes. And that must be a conscious principle, ever-existent principle. It is consciousness, the conscious principle, because it is aware of the changes. It is a witness, Sakshi, of all the changes it observes. And that Sakshi, it don't come and go. It is there for ever. It is ever existent. That which is existence and awareness, it is not different from you. It cannot be different from you. Therefore, you are that changeless awareness. You are an observer, a witnesser of all the changes which are kalpitam on you. All the kalpitams are nitya. All the kalpitams are nitya and they are negatable from the paramarthika standpoint. From the absolute standpoint, they are negatable. How do you know that there are changes? As I said, any changing is possible and it can be observed only if the observer it knows the previous and the current status, current conditions. If the observer witness also changes with the previous and the current conditions, then there cannot be any observation of changes. Therefore, as a changeless principle, as a witness of all the changes, Drashta, the seer, Sakshi Rupena Vartate, is in the form of Sakshi. Drashta, the seer, who sees, who knows, who witnesses the changes, he should be unchangeable. He must be continuing as the same Sakshi witness. If the seer also changes, then what will happen? Then who will witness the change? Who knows the change? The change itself cannot be recognized. Suppose if you see an object, let us say an object A1 at time T1, and you are the seer S1. So observing an object A1 at time T1 by the observer S1. After some time, say at time T2, if you are also changed, now the seer has become S2 and the object also changed, let us say A2, then how will you recognize the change in object from A1 to A2? Because the seer S also is different. S1 is different from S2. The seer also has changed. But you recognize the change in the object. You recognize the change in Jagat. It means you must be unchanged. You are the witness of all the changes. And you are consciousness. Therefore, you are aware of all the changes. And when I say you, remember it doesn't mean the body. We are not talking about the body or the mind or the sense complex. Shariram is conscious and sentient because of you. Minus you, the body doesn't have any sentience. The body with the jiva, with the life, is a mixture of sentient thing and insentient thing. Really speaking, it is not even a mixture. It is as though a mixture. That chit and jada, they are tied as though. Chit, jada, granthi. Body is jadam. Without chaitanyam, body is jadam. And body is alive because of chaitanyam. The body, it undergoes all the sixfold modifications as we just saw. Asti jayate, vardate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, adinashyati iti. And you are aware of all the changes. So the body remaining jadam and you remain the witness, you know all the changes happening to the body. Therefore, the body borrows, or the body is conscious, or it has the chetanatvam, borrowed chetanatvam, sentiency from you. It is because of the mind. Mind is also jadam. Mind is also is an inert matter. Just like any inert matter, mind is also a matter only. But it is of a different matter, different type of matter. That it can reflect chaitanya. Since the mind pervades the whole body from the top to the bottom, the body is conscious. And when the mind leaves the body, that is when the Sukshma Shariram leaves the body, what happens? So the body dies, but the Chaitanyam doesn't die. It is always there. But there is no mind to reflect Chaitanyam when the Sukshma Shariram leaves the body. Therefore, the body is considered to be dead. And when I say reflect, please understand that is important to be understood. It is just like this. When a mirror is placed in a place where the sun rays falls in your house, let us say. Assume the room is dark. Now, with the mirror, you can reflect the sun rays into the dark room. Because of the reflected sun rays, now the room becomes bright. Now, the sun in the mirror, it is the reflection. And the mirror is the reflecting medium. The dark room is lighted by the reflection of the sunlight from the mirror. And we know very well that sun in the mirror, it doesn't exist independently. In fact, it is just a reflection reflected by the mirror. Mind is also like that. Mind, it reflects and illumines it. Therefore, it knows the object. That illumination is knowledge. And we know mind is part of a Sukshma Shariram, and Sukshma Shariram pervades the entire body. Therefore, the body is conscious because of Chaitanyam reflected in Sukshma Shariram. And that conscious principle, the Chaitanyam, is the only principle which is never unchanged, which is never changing, which remains unchanging. Therefore, the Atma is consciousness, which makes this Jada Shariram sentient. And therefore, it's clear that sentiency is not the property of the body. Body is matter, made of matter. It is not different from any Jada Vastu. And whatever it makes a body sentient and alive is called consciousness or the Chaitanyam. 1 minute, I have to charge my mobile. That's laptop. Therefore, Chaitanyam cannot be a property of the body. The body has certain height, weight, color, and it has other dimensions, which are the properties of the body. Consciousness is not the property of the body. Chaitanyam is not the property of the body. You cannot include Chaitanyam as any organ or avayava of the Shariram. You cannot conclude that Chaitanyam is a function of the brain or Chaitanyam is generated in the brain. Brain is just an inert matter. How can it be the cause of Chaitanyam? Even the subtlest part, the mind, it cannot generate Chaitanyam. Therefore, understand that Chaitanyam is neither a product nor it can be a property or a part of the Jada Shariram. It is not Chaitanyam from the body, but the body is Chaitanam because of Chaitanyam. Therefore, Shariradikam Nitya, whereas Chaitanyam is Satyam, and Chaitanyam is independent, and everything else is dependent on the Satya Vastu, Chaitanya Atma. And this Chaitanyam consciousness, it is not available for objectification because it is not an object. Only objects can be objectified by the sense organs. That which plays an important role in objectification of anything, but that itself cannot be objectified, is consciousness, Chaitanya. Therefore, can you say that consciousness is invisible? You cannot say. Are you invisible or visible? When I say you, that you should drop all the notions about yourself with regard to this body, mind, senses. You are not objectifiable. You are that consciousness, awareness. I have seen this example given by some people to explain that the Chaitanyam and the body, the connection. They give this example of the fan and electricity. They say the fan is visible. Yes, fan is visible, whereas electricity is invisible. The invisible electricity, it operates a fan. Invisible electricity, it operates a fan. And electricity is independent of the fan. Therefore, electricity is neither a part or product or property of the fan. Before the fan came into existence, electricity was there. Before you switch on the fan, the electricity was there. Even when you destroy the fan, when you switch off the fan, electricity will continue to be there. Therefore, they say, like the electricity, that which makes the body active and that is ever existent is consciousness. this example I have seen. That is the reason why I am saying this example. You should observe the defect in the example. This example is not correct. Puja Swamiji never accepts such example. Why? I tell you. There's a problem in this example. Through this example, what you want to say is, like the electricity driving the fan, the consciousness, it makes the Jada Shariram Chetana, alive. Electricity is independent of fan. So too, consciousness is independent. This is what is they are trying to tell to the example. But here lies the problem. Electricity and fan, they are different. Here you cannot say electricity is Satyam, fan is Nitya. Both are empirically Satyam. They have the Vyavaharika Satta is, or both are Nitya from the Paramarthika standpoint. So both enjoy the same level of reality. Therefore, they are not good examples. But if you take the example of pot and clay, there pot is Nitya, clay is Satyam. Again, the example is taken only from the empirical world, but there is no fallacy in this example. Minus clay, does pot exist? Minus clay, pot doesn't exist. If you remove clay, there is no pot. But it is not the case with the fan. Minus electricity, fan doesn't exist, you cannot say. Fan exists independently, independent of electricity. Therefore, this electricity fan such examples are not good examples. The examples have to be carefully.
But in the case, in the case of the
we will discuss, right, at the end of the class. So therefore, the logic of this Anvaya Vyatireka to be applied properly before selecting an example. We should be content with this pot clay example. It is enough. That good old stock example is more than enough. That is, even the Shastra says in Chandogya Upanishad. Therefore, pot clay example is sufficient, or the gold bangle example, or the wood furniture example. These examples are more than sufficient. In fact, without pot clay, some say there is no Vedanta. Therefore, this Chaitanyam is Satyam. And this Chaitanyam, it cannot be limited by any Vastu or Kala or Desha. Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinnam Chaitanyam. Whether you call Chaitanyam or Chitta or consciousness, I use it so many words, but it all means the same. Therefore, Chit is Satyam. It's therefore independent. Because it is independent, it must be infinite. When you say something is independent, it must be infinite. That is, it is not limited by anything. When it is not limited by anything, then how can the consciousness be limited by the boundaries of the body? This question can come. To say that consciousness is only confined to my body, only up to the boundaries of body, is limiting the consciousness. Therefore, consciousness being independent, it must be pervading even outside the boundaries of my body. My body is conscious only within the limits. Above my head or below my feet or even just an inch away from my fingertip, I am not conscious. Even there is no consciousness when I cut my nails or fingernails or my hair. Then how can you say that consciousness is unlimited and all pervasive? Is it not logical to conclude that consciousness is confined only to the body limits, the perimeter of the body? You may ask this question. The answer is, listen please, consciousness is unlimited. Body is limited. We can understand this based on our previous discussion. How can you conclude that unlimited consciousness to be limited and confined to the body? You should answer this question. It clearly shows that your conclusion is wrong. You fail to recognize the all-pervasive consciousness to be you, and based on the experiences, you recognize it to be confined. That experience becomes the basis for the wrong conclusion. Understand, experience itself is limited. There is no unlimited experience. How can something being unlimited be experienced? If it is unlimited, it is unlimited. There is no unlimited experience. It has to be understood. It has to be understood and appreciated. Anything you experience, understand, it is limited. In fact, any experience is possible only when you are limited as though by body, mind, sense complex. You are unlimited. And all the limitations on you are nitya. They are nitya. Therefore, I said as though. In Sanskrit, we use the word iva for as though. Therefore, it is clear, it clearly shows that this bhogayatanam shariram, it limits the chaitanyam as though to provide experiences to the subject, the knower, the karta. If this answer is not convincing to you, I can give you an example. Sometimes drishtanta, the examples helps you in understanding. Examples, they don't give you any direct or logical answer, but it convinces you to accept the fact. You cannot deny your experience, and examples are based on that. The examples based on experience, though they don't answer your question directly and logically, but it stops you from entertaining further doubts. That is the beauty of examples. Now, suppose you see the reflection of the moon in the clear waters of the pond, the reflected moon, you see. You know that moon is such a huge thing. The diameter of the moon is around 3,500 kilometers. How can such a huge object be seen in a limited pond? With reference to the pond, moon is unlimited, infinite. Pond is limited. The unlimited moon is reflected in the limited pond. In the same way, the all-pervasive consciousness is reflected in the human body, and in the presence of which all experiences are experienced. As the reflected moon, it lights up the whole pond. Therefore, this dimensionless consciousness, it cannot be limited by the dimensions of the body. Now comes the next question. If consciousness is not limited, can it have a date of birth or death? Body has a date of birth. Body has a date of death also. And body being limited, it is subject to janana maranadi, that vikaras. Shat vikara also. Consciousness is unlimited. There is not another thing to limit it. Therefore, it must be ever existent. It doesn't have any particular time of origin or disappearance. That which is unlimited should be nityam. It should be nityam, eternal. Therefore, time cannot limit it. In the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Avinashitu tadvidhi, yena sarvamidam tatam, vinashamavyayasya, akaschit kartum arhati. The second chapter of Gita is very important because Bhagavan Krishna gives a whole essence of the Gita in the second chapter itself. Avinashi tu tadvidhi, that which is indestructible, cannot be destroyed. It means what? It doesn't have a date of birth or date of origin. That is, it is ever present. Nityaha. Yena sarvam idam tatam. By that, it pervades. Vinasham asya vinasham na kaschit kartum hargati. Nobody can destroy it. Antavanta ime deghaha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmadyudhyasva bharata. Antavantaha ime deghaha. This degha, it has got a beginning. Antavantaha, it's going to end. Nityasyokta sharirinaha. Anashinaha apremeyasya. Whereas its consciousness is anashinaha, it doesn't have vinasha. Nashaka na vidyate asya iti. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. Na yam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha. Ajo nityashashvato yam puranaha. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Na jayate na mriyate kadachit. Ajaha nityaha shashvataha puranaha iti. अच्छेद्योयमदाख्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतस्थाणुः अचलोऽयं सनातनः. All these slokas, there are other slokas also. You find the Krishna beautifully says that which is अच्छेद्योयम् अदाख्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यः अशोष्यः नित्यः सर्वतः iti. Therefore, Chaitanyam is never born, is never dies also. What is born is only the body. And after the death of the body, consciousness, it survives. It doesn't have death. Because of a wanting medium, it is not recognized. Because it is not recognized, we cannot conclude that Chaitanya has death. Consciousness is you. It means you don't have that. Because of our wrong orientation and conditioning, identifying with the body, mind, sense complex, we fail to recognize the ever-existent consciousness. Body comes and goes, but Chaitanya is there forever. And being a witness of all the changes, the consciousness is Jnana Swarupaha. Therefore, when the disciple asks Chit Kim, the Acharya says Jnana Swarupaha. Jnana Swarupa Atma. It is knowledge. It is pure awareness. Therefore, the changeless principle, Sat, as the knower of all the changes, is a conscious principle and it has to be Jnana Swarupam. Understand, whatever is changing is Asat Swarupam and Achit Swarupam, and that which is a change, witness of all the changing Asat and changing Achit, it is Satchit Swarupam, Jnana Swarupam. That changeless conscious principle is Nirvishesha Jnanam. That is, it is free from any Vishesha. When you see a pot, you say that you have a knowledge of the pot. And after the vision of the pot, then you see a flower. Now you say you have the knowledge of a flower. That means what? That means the pot thought is replaced by a flower thought. That pot jnanam is replaced by a flower jnanam. Vishesha jnanam. Then you see a mountain. Now there is mountain knowledge or mountain thought. Now the previous thoughts have gone away. So thus you have varieties of particular knowledges, Vishesha jnanam, and they keep changing every moment. Suppose if these particular knowledges do not change, then what will happen? You see a man and then you see a monkey. Now if the man knowledge still lingers in your mind, then you will see monkey sitting on the man. But that doesn't happen. Previous knowledge is immediately replaced by the current knowledge. And therefore, thus we find that any particular knowledge is changing from time to time, but there must be a knowing principle which is constantly there, seeing all the changes happening in the particular knowledges. That knowledge is not a specific knowledge. It cannot be a particular knowledge, because if it is also a particular knowledge, then it will disappear with that knowledge. It cannot be a witness of another particular knowledge. One particular knowledge cannot be a witness of another particular knowledge, because that particular knowledge will go away. In the wake of another particular knowledge, the previous particular knowledge must go away. So, the witness of all the changes in every particular knowledge must be a non-particular knowledge. The changing knowledge is called Vritti Jnanam or Vishesha Jnanam. The non-changing principle, that is called Swarupa Jnanam or Vishesha Jnanam. And it should be the consciousness awareness. That is what the author says, Jnana Swarupaha. Even sometimes you say that there is nothing in the mind. It is the state of blankness. Even the state of blankness you are aware of. You are aware of even the absence of any particular knowledge. It means what? It means that Jnana Swarupa Jnanam, it is in and through all the Vritti Jnanam, Vishesha Jnanam. That is called Chit. And it cannot change because it is Sat. Sat is witness of all the changes, itself not undergoing any change. So, Sat and Chit, they are not two different things, it is the same Vastu. Therefore, Sakshi Rupena Sada Agam Asmi. And we very well know that body, mind, sense complex is not the witness. Because we know how we were when how our body was when we were 5 years old. And now the body, what we possess, is entirely different from what we had before. So it is a gradual change. And body is a chetan. Body cannot itself witness the changes because it is changing. Therefore, I am the witness of all the changes which takes place in the body. And who is different from the body? The same way with the mind also. The changes which takes place in the mind is witnessed by me. Therefore, I should be the ever-existent conscious principle, Chit Swarupam, Jnana Swarupaha. In the Dakshinamurti Stotram, there's a beautiful verses there. Balya Vishwapi Jagrada Dishu Sarva Savasta Swapi Yavritta Svanuvartamana Magadityantam Spurantam Tada Swatmanam Prakati Karoti Bhagatam Yo Mudraya Bhadraya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namavidam Sri Dakshina Murtaye. And in this sloka it says Balyadishu api Jagradadishu tata Sarvasa Avastasu api, in all the avastha, whether it is the Balyadishu, Balya, boyhood, adulthood, in all the stages of life, and even in the Jagradadi avastha, Sarvasu Avastasu api, I, the Atma is always shines as I. That is free from all the conditions imposed on the Shariradi. Therefore, Agam iti antaspuratam sada. So I am that Satchit Atma which is ever shining. And Shastra says this consciousness, this Chit principle, it is not the quality of the body. But according to science, it is a quality of the body. They say when the body gets a particular configuration, that Chit also becomes its attributes. When the body is gone, the attributes are also gone. Therefore, the scientists, they think that Chit is born of the matter. But we say it is neither born of matter, nor can it be a quality of the matter. Chit is the Vastu. It is the Atma. It is I. Without Chit, there is no Sat. And without being Chit, there is no Sat either. So that which is akalpitam is Chaitanya, consciousness. What cannot exist without being something else is kalpitam, dependent, nitya vastu. Wave cannot exist without being water. Therefore, wave is kalpitam. Desk cannot exist without being the material wood. Therefore, desk is kalpitam. The notebook on which you are writing, it cannot exist without being paper. Therefore, notebook also kalpitam. So, everything is kalpitam. We can go on and on. There is no end for it. But that which is akalpitam in all of them, which is the reality, it is consciousness. At any stage, we can say that is final. There is no further going down in this process. In other words, the presence of consciousness is there in all the 3 periods of time. Trikale api tishtati. And then also in any situation, in any perception, in perception of any object, it is there. In any perception, what is invariably present is perception minus the object, and that is consciousness, the Chitta. It is always there, and therefore that is Sat. So Chit and Sat, they are not Visheshana, they denote the only Vastu, which is Atma. So here the author has clearly told what is Chitta. Now another term in the definition of Atma has to be explained. What is that? Anandaha. That is the next question Shishya asks with teacher. We will read the definition and we will continue the discussion in the next class. Anandah kaha
Anandah kaha
Sukaswarupaha.
Sukaswarupaha.
What is Ananda? Ananda is of the nature of Sukham. We can use Ananda or Ananta. Both mean Ananda is fine, but it can be understood as Ananta, like in the Tattvabodha. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma iti. The same Satya Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the Shruti Vakyam is given Satchit Anandaha iti. It will be very nice to discuss that. So that we will do it in the next class. We will stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevasishyate. Om
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Harihi
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
1 minute before the wind up. So we will have our next Tattvabodha class on Wednesday. I think Wednesday you don't have any class.